was very interesting. Andrew Tate said, women don't understand what loyalty is because they think that a man being loyal to them is never cheating.
Right.
But a man, he used a scenario of someone who likes apples. If a man always eats apples, doesn't mean he's loyal to apples. The man that's loyal to apples eats apples all the time and then eats a strawberry, but always comes back to apples. He eats a banana, but always comes back to apples. And that is what loyalty is. Loyalty means if there's no alternative, I have no choice but to be loyal to you. And loyalty to a man, the way men see it, is like, but I'm always coming back to you. That means I don't care about these other, it's just something that was kind of throwaway. But if I'm always coming back to you, that's what loyalty is.
I have a question for you, Sarah, and actually both of you too. When do you think a man becomes disloyal? So if he's sleeping with other girls, that doesn't automatically mean he's disloyal. Is he disloyal if, like, because don't you think guys on some level ever developed feelings for the side chick? I've heard stories where like side chicks get written into the wills, that like stuff like that.
Some do.
I've heard, yeah. So when does it become disloyalty?
When he, like you said, like when he takes his finances and his time and gives it to somebody else, he's disloyal.
So if he has,
like, if I had like a mistress,
okay,
right, and I'm married and I write her into my will, that's disloyalty.
Is it disloyalty if he has a whole side chick?
In what sense? What do you mean?
So I always just wonder.
I think that is disloyal because he's given her time and energy that he could be given to his wife. A man that has, I don't know, a couple of one night stands with, I don't know, some random chick, and comes back to his wife, as a man, I don't think that's
But he's still giving his energy to someone else.
Yeah, but it's like, it's throwaway. A man will have sex with a hole in the wall. I've always said, like, it's throwaway.
So if a guy has a side chick where it's just like easier to use her, right? I'm just curious when
guys like variety as well.
But if he has like a side chick that it's just like easier to go to her because sex is hard for men to get, and if he has one, he might want to retain it if he's looking to cheat, right? And I just wonder, like, when is exactly the line? Like, does he have feelings for her?
Me personally, I've never had it. I've never had a side chick. That's just me personally. I've never had a side chick.
Do you know someone that has?
I know somebody that hasn't, and I know that them having that side chick took so much time and effort. And also resources out of them, and I was like, bro, I ain't got time for that unless
so you would say that man was disloyal.
Of course,
actually.
but unless that woman is part of the conglomerate, right? I've always said, if you want two women, they need to know about each other, or three women, they need to know about each other, and they need to know that this is what it is. But if you're running around on the side, and it's like you're taking all, and you have to hide, and you have to put your phone down, and all this kind of stuff, and the woman can't know. I'm like, bro, that's too. That's a whole other relationship, bro. Like, it's just disloyalty now.
See, I think there's levels to it, innit? So like, if like guys can just trip and fall into pussy, it happens by accident. It can happen by accident.
So it's like girl at a bar, girl at a club. She just throws it. Okay, so that's option one. That's not disloyalty.
It just tripped.
So then option two.
It is disloyal in a sense, but it's levels, isn't it? So that's like level one disloyalty. You can work past that, I feel like. But then obviously when you're actually having a whole nother relationship on the side, that's mad, because who's got time for that? And then that is essentially like you're doing what the woman, like what you would class as the woman as being like disloyal, because you're investing time and emotion.
Yeah.
And when does it become a relationship? Like, how often does he have to see her for it to become a relationship?
Oh, if you're banging the same, like if it's more than once, then it's like.
So if he hooked up with her twice in a year, that's probably not disloyalty. So it's right. So I'm saying it has to be a level of how often.
It's disloyal, but I'd say once you get into the realm of like you're texting every day, you're hiding messages, you're deleting stuff. Yeah. When you start being sneaky, then because you're constantly lying to your partner at that point. Like before you go over and you're deleting messages, that's disloyalty.
Can I just put another situation out there? I don't know whether it's just me, but I know of older West Indian couples where happily married man,
I know where you're
happily married woman on the outside. The wife knows about her. They know about each other, and they wouldn't class it as disloyal.
But that's why. But she's part of the conglomerate.
It's an arrangement.
She's part of the arrangement.
You've got the house. We've raised our children. And
she's part of the arrangement.
because I remember going out somewhere, and every time I went out, I always saw this older woman with a man.
Don't look at me.
And I remember saying to him something about your wife, no, something about your husband. That's not my husband. And I thought, but I've seen you all together. And she was so adamant and angry that I called her his wife. But I'd seen you together for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And then when I said to someone, who is she? Like, I used to work with the guy. I thought that was his wife. I used to work with him. And I thought, who's that woman? He goes, no, that's not his wife. And then we went to an official function.
And then you saw his wife.
Then I saw the wife. And the wife just like sort of rolls out on the official function. She's got the big house. The kids have raised. She's there with the grandchildren.
Yeah.
The husband has got 2 keys for 2 houses.
Do you know what
One to his home, and the women, they don't argue, they don't see each other
because she's part of the arrangement.
And it's not seen as disloyalty.
No,
those women have escaped the matrix. Like,
but it happens out there in the Caribbean world.
They're getting the full benefit of the man in his whole presence.
The thing is, and
the wife don't mind because she's got the kids, she's got the pension, she's got the house, and she hasn't got the headache.
The matrix.
You get everything you wanted, you're getting, and once you start to detach from this idea of owning people, it's not that deep. Do you understand that? It's not the worst thing that can happen that your man is speaking to somebody else or he's attracted to someone. Like, you're so secure in what it don't mean nothing. And more time, another thing that I've also realised with this whole cheating thing, women aren't busy enough. You've got too much time on your hands to be coming to do digging up. Like, if you had your own shit, you would not even be concerning yourself what your quote unquote man is doing outside the home because you're getting taken care of. That's what another thing I wanted to point out. But yeah.
I have a side chick. I've told Auntie this before. I have a side chick story. I know someone that was like very Catholic. So she was like one of the most Catholic people I've ever met. Like she believes in hell, she believes in heaven, like she went to church every day, like that sort of thing. She was married to someone for I don't know, 50 years total. But about like 20, 30 years in, her husband had an affair with someone at work. And he actually left the family to go to the side chick. He left his family. And she prayed to God for a solution. She said, God, like she didn't believe in divorce. So she's like, please bring him back together. She believed that like salvation for her husband like wouldn't be offered if he really left and he really committed adultery and didn't come back. Wow. So she prayed to God for a solution. The side chick died.
That sounds like Judge.
And he came home 2 days later and they stayed married for 50 years.
Oh my God.
Sounds like magic to me.
Yeah, when you're talking about the wills and everything, I remember my late godfather, and he was one of the best godfathers ever. He used to sit down, chat. He was happily married. He had his children from his wife. And when he died and she found his will, he had a whole other family out there. And she didn't lose any money. She didn't lose any house. They had properties in Barbados. They had properties here. But he had this whole other family. And they had a house. And he had children. And the wife was really upset. And I thought, but you only found out when he died. It didn't bother you. It didn't take away. She didn't notice or anything like that.
Yeah,
and
it was built on lies.
Everybody was happy everybody was well taken care of when he died. His other family and my aunt. And he was a fantastic man, but I don't know how he kept it secret because he had a whole other family going on and nobody knew about it. And he just went to work. He was always a hard worker. So overtime, I think that's where the overtime went. The overtime went there.
Went to them.
None of the women suffered. Nobody suffered. None of the family suffered either.
Can I ask another question about like...
They got the money from his will.
The male and female difference.